At her best friend's birthday celebration, she declared, "Dating someone less successful really puts things in perspective. Now I understand what I don't want." Everyone laughed. I quietly stood up, left $50 on the table, and drove home. She spent the night sending texts of apology. I spent it blocking her numbers. Hey everyone, a big thanks to those who have already subscribed. We're really close to 10,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button and help us reach that goal. I'm a 34-year-old man working as an electrician. It's a steady job and I own my home. My truck is paid off. Nothing extravagant, but I'm comfortable. I've been dating Vanessa, a 30-year-old woman, for about 10 months. She has a finance job downtown and earns good money. She's definitely more refined than I am, but I thought we balanced each other well. Vanessa's circle of friends is what you might expect. Young professionals, trendy dining spots, weekend wine tastings, that whole lifestyle. I've joined them maybe 6 times in total. They're polite to me, but there's always an underlying feeling that I don't quite belong. Last Saturday was her best friend Lauren's 29th birthday. There was a big dinner at an upscale steakhouse downtown, about 12 people in total. Lauren specifically invited me, which I thought was nice but should have raised a warning flag. I've noticed little comments from this group before. 3 months ago at a wine bar, someone joked about me being the token blue-collar guy. 2 months ago, at a dinner party, Lauren asked if I had ever thought about advancing my career beyond manual labor. Last month, Vanessa's coworker mentioned how refreshing it was that Vanessa was exploring different types of people. I brushed it all off, thinking they just weren't familiar with many tradespeople. Vanessa always seemed embarrassed by their remarks and would quickly change the subject. We arrived at the restaurant around 7 p.m. It was a nice place with cloth napkins and a wine list thicker than a phone book. I was dressed in my best shirt and jeans, while everyone else was in business casual or better. It was the usual dynamic, but I was used to it by now. Dinner started off well. The food was good, and the conversation revolved around work and weekend plans. I mostly listened and chimed in when someone directed a question my way. Vanessa appeared relaxed and kept including me in conversations. Around 9 p.m., as we were finishing dessert, Lauren stood up with her wine glass. It was time for the birthday speech. She began, "I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. This year has been incredible, and you all are the best friends a girl could ask for." It was the standard birthday speech. Everyone was smiling, raising their glasses. I've learned so much about myself this year, especially regarding relationships and what I want in life. She looked around the table, making eye contact with everyone. "Vanessa, you've taught me something really significant this year. Watching you has been so enlightening." Vanessa looked confused but pleased. "What do you mean?" "Well, your whole dating someone less successful has been fascinating to observe from the outside." The table fell silent. I felt my stomach drop, but I kept my face expressionless. "I mean, dating someone so different from your usual type, someone who doesn't match your education level or lifestyle. It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it?" Vanessa's cheeks were turning red. "Lauren, no, I'm serious. It's actually brilliant. Now you know exactly what you don't want in a partner. This whole thing has been like a cautionary tale for the rest of us." Half the table looked uncomfortable, while the other half nodded in agreement. Some guy named Brad even smirked. "That's harsh but probably true," another woman chimed in. I sat there realizing I had apparently been a 10-month social experiment, while her friends discussed me as if I weren't present. Lauren raised her glass higher. "So here's to learning experiences and knowing your worth. Thanks for showing us what settling looks like, V. Really educational stuff." Everyone was looking between me and Vanessa now. Vanessa appeared mortified but didn't say anything to defend me. She just sat there frozen while her friends toasted to my humiliation. I calmly reached into my wallet, took out 2 $20 bills and a $10 bill, and placed them on the table next to my plate. The entrees were around $35. "Happy birthday, Lauren," I said, standing up. "Thanks for the education." I walked out of the restaurant without rushing. No dramatics, no slamming doors, just leaving with whatever dignity I had left. I got to my truck and sat there for a moment. 10 months of my life. 10 months of believing I was in a genuine relationship while apparently being someone's experiment. The casual cruelty of it being announced for entertainment was staggering. My phone started buzzing before I even got home. Vanessa was calling. I declined. Text. "Mike, please don't leave like this." Another call. Decline. Text. Lauren was drunk. She didn't mean it. Another call. I turned my phone off, got home, cracked open a beer, and reflected on the last 10 months. All those comments I had brushed off. All those times I felt more like a curiosity than a boyfriend. All those moments when I wondered if I was imagining their condescension. I turned my phone back on around 11 p.m. There were 19 missed calls from Vanessa and 26 text messages. Mike, I'm so sorry. Lauren is an idiot. Please don't take this seriously. She's jealous because she's single. Everyone thinks she was way out of line. Please call me back. We need to talk. I'm driving to your house. Why aren't you answering? This is ridiculous. You know I care about you. Don't throw away what we have over something stupid. I started blocking numbers. First her personal phone, then when she tried calling from what was probably a friend's phone, I blocked that too. Around midnight, I heard a car outside. I looked through the blinds and saw Vanessa's BMW parked on the street. She walked up to my door and started knocking. Mike, I know you're in there. Please, just talk to me. I didn't respond. She kept knocking for about 10 minutes, then went back to her car, but she didn't leave. She just sat there watching my house. She finally drove off around 12:30 a.m. This morning, I found flowers on my doorstep with a note that said, I'm sorry. What we have is real. Please don't let Lauren ruin this. I threw the flowers in the trash along with the note. Here's the thing, maybe Lauren was drunk. Maybe she was bitter about being single. But the phrase dating down experiment isn't something you just make up on the spot. That language had been used before. And Vanessa's reaction told me everything. No immediate defense of me, no shutting down Lauren, just embarrassment that her friends said the quiet part out loud. I've been someone's social science project for 10 months, someone's way of figuring out what she truly wants. The charity case that made her appreciate her own standards. I'm not interested in being anyone's learning experience while they figure out their preferences. She got her education. Now she can find someone who meets her standards from the start. Update 1. 48 hours later. Well, it's been an interesting couple of days. Thanks for all the comments and support. It's good to know most people believe being publicly labeled a dating experiment deserves an immediate exit. So yesterday, Vanessa escalated her damage control efforts. She showed up at my work site around lunchtime. I was working on electrical for a new office building downtown. We were on break when my supervisor, Frank, came over. Mike, there's a woman outside asking for you. Says it's urgent. I looked toward the street and saw Vanessa standing by the sidewalk in her work clothes. She was smart enough to stay outside the construction zone, but it was clear she was waiting for me. Tell her I'm busy. She says she'll wait until your break is over. Then she's going to be waiting a while. But having my personal drama visible to my crew isn't professional. I walked over to the fence separating the site from the sidewalk. Vanessa, you can't be here. Mike, please. Just 5 minutes. There's nothing to discuss. Yes, there is. What Lauren said was completely wrong, and I told her so. When? Because you didn't say anything at the restaurant. I was in shock. I couldn't believe she said something so awful. Awful but accurate. Mike, you know how I feel about you. I know how your friends feel about me, and I know you didn't correct them. My crew was trying not to stare, but this was getting awkward. Please just meet me for coffee after work, so we can talk properly. No, then dinner tomorrow or this weekend. Anything. Vanessa, I'm not interested in being your social experiment anymore. That's not what this was. Because Lauren seemed pretty confident about the whole dating down thing. Lauren doesn't understand our relationship. She understood it well enough to give a toast about it. Vanessa looked around and realized people were watching. I'm not giving up on us, Mike. There is no us. There's just you figuring out what you don't want. I walked back to the job site, and she eventually left. That evening brought a new strategy. Vanessa had her sister Kim call me. We'd met a couple of times at family gatherings, and she always seemed reasonable. Mike, I heard what happened at Lauren's birthday. Word travels fast. Vanessa told me what Lauren said. I wanted you to know that was completely out of line. I appreciate that, Kim. She's been crying for 2 days. I've never seen her this upset. I'm sorry she's upset, but this isn't something I can fix. Mike, I know my sister. She genuinely cares about you. Your sister's friend called me a dating experiment, and she sat there silent. She was probably in shock. She was probably embarrassed that someone said what she'd been thinking. There was a long pause. You really think that's how she sees you? Kim, your sister makes good money and has a graduate degree. I'm a high school graduate who works with my hands. Her friends talk about wine regions while I drink beer from the bottle. The writing was on the wall. That stuff doesn't matter if you care about someone. It mattered to Lauren. And judging by the reactions at that table, it matters to the rest of her friends too. So that's it. You're not even going to give her a chance to explain. She had her chance to explain on Saturday night when Lauren was talking. That was her moment to shut it down. She chose silence. Kim tried to convince me for a few more minutes, but I wasn't interested. Today brought Vanessa's most desperate attempt. Around 2 p.m., I received a call from my mom. Mike, I just got the strangest call. From who? Some girl named Vanessa says she's your girlfriend and you two had a fight. Ex-girlfriend. What did she want? She wanted to know if I could talk to you about giving her another chance. She said there was a misunderstanding. What did you tell her? I told her I don't get involved in your relationships, and she had no business calling me. Good. How did she even get your number? She said you'd mentioned me bringing cookies to your work site last month. So she called around to electrical companies until she found someone who knew Frank, your supervisor. Frank gave her my number, thinking it was an emergency. That's pretty determined. That's pretty desperate. Mike, what happened? I explained the whole situation. My mom listened without interrupting. So, this girl's friend called you a learning experience? Pretty much. And your girlfriend didn't defend you? Nope. Then you made the right choice, honey. You deserve someone who's proud to be with you, not someone using you to figure out what they want. Thanks, Mom. Although, I have to say, calling me shows she's really panicking. That girl must be realizing what she lost. That evening, I received a text from Vanessa's number. Mike, this is Lauren using V's phone. I owe you a huge apology. I almost deleted it, but I was curious about what excuse she'd come up with. What I said on Saturday was completely wrong, and I'm sorry. I was drunk and taking out my own relationship frustrations on you. That doesn't make it okay. I know. I talked to Vanessa yesterday, and she told me how serious you two are. She's been planning to introduce you to her parents at Christmas. If that's true, it's a funny way of showing it. Mike, I was wrong about everything. Vanessa talks about you constantly. She's crazy about you. Then why didn't she defend me? Because she was shocked. We all were. Nobody expected me to say something that cruel. But you did say it. Yeah, I did. And I've been regretting it ever since. I thought about this for a while before responding. Lauren, maybe you were drunk and frustrated, but dating down experiment isn't something you just make up on the spot. You've heard that phrase before. You're right. My ex-boyfriend used it about his previous relationship. I was projecting my own situation onto yours. So this had nothing to do with how she actually feels. Mike, Vanessa has never said anything negative about you ever. Then why do I feel like a zoo animal around her friends? Because we're snobs who aren't used to someone genuine. But that's our problem, not yours. It was a long conversation, but it got me thinking. Maybe I misread the situation. Maybe Lauren really was just drunk and bitter. But then I remembered Vanessa's face at the restaurant. The silence when she should have spoken up. I was still unsure of what to believe. Final update. 1 week later. Time to close this chapter. It's been a week since Lauren's birthday speech, and I've had time to reflect on everything that occurred. After Lauren's apology text, I spent a couple of days considering whether I'd overreacted. Maybe she was just drunk and bitter. Maybe Vanessa really was planning to introduce me to her parents. Maybe I jumped to conclusions. Then I started recalling other things. 2 weeks ago, Vanessa mentioned wanting to take a weekend trip to Napa Valley. When I looked up wine tour prices and said it seemed expensive, she gave me a look and said, "Well, I could probably cover it if you can't afford your share." At the time, I thought she was being generous. Now I realize she was already planning around my financial limits. Last month, at her office Christmas party, her boss made a condescending comment about blue-collar workers. Vanessa didn't defend me. She just changed the subject as if she was embarrassed. 3 weeks ago, she suggested I might want to explore some continuing education options to expand my opportunities. When I said I liked my job, she replied, "Of course, but don't you want to grow?" Those weren't isolated incidents. They were part of a pattern I had been ignoring because I wanted the relationship to work. On Wednesday, I made my decision. I called Vanessa from work. "Mike, oh my God, I'm so glad you called." "Vanessa, I've thought about everything, and my answer is final. We're done." "Mike, please don't say that. I love you. You love the idea of being with someone different, but you don't love me enough to defend me when it matters. That's not fair." I was in shock. Fair is being with someone who sees me as an equal, not a project. You are my equal. Your friend called it dating down, and you didn't disagree. That tells me how you really see this. I'll cut Lauren out of my life if that's what it takes. It's not about Lauren. It's about you agreeing with her assessment. I never agreed with anything. Your silence was agreement enough. She kept trying to argue, but I had made up my mind. On Thursday, she tried one last time. She showed up at my house around 7 p.m. with what looked like a prepared speech. I answered the door but didn't invite her in. Mike, I've been thinking about this all week. You're right. I should have defended you immediately. I was wrong to stay quiet. Okay, I want to make this right. I've already told my friends that anyone who disrespects you isn't welcome in my life. Good for you. I want to prove that you matter to me, that this relationship matters. How? However you want, I'll introduce you to my parents this weekend. We can move in together. Whatever shows you how serious I am. I looked at this woman I'd spent 10 months with, trying to determine if she was sincere or just panicking. Vanessa, can I ask you something honestly? Anything. Before Lauren's speech, had you ever thought of our relationship as dating down? She hesitated for just a moment, but I caught it. No, I never thought that. Not even early on, Mike. That's not a yes or no. Did you ever think you were dating below your level? Another pause. Maybe at first I wondered if we were compatible long-term because we're so different, but that changed. When did it change? Months ago. Mike, I fell in love with you. But you did think you were dating down initially. I thought we came from different worlds. That's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. You saw me as beneath your level and hoped it would work out anyway. That's not how it was. That's exactly how it was. Lauren just said out loud what you'd been thinking. Mike, please find someone who matches your background from the start. Someone who doesn't make you wonder if you're settling. I closed the door, and that was the end of it. That was 4 days ago. No more calls, texts, or surprise visits. Either she finally accepted reality, or she's already moved on to someone more suitable. Yesterday, I had lunch with my buddy Tom, who works in plumbing. I told him the whole story. Man, I could see this coming from a mile away. What do you mean, Mike? That girl never looked at you like you were her equal. She looked at you like you were interesting, but not like you belonged. You noticed that? We all did. She was nice enough, but there was always this vibe like she was doing charity work. That confirmed what I already knew deep down. I'm doing fine. Better than fine, actually. No more second-guessing myself around her friends. No more feeling like I need to prove I'm worth her time. No more dating someone who viewed me as a social experiment. The revenge wasn't elaborate. It was simply refusing to be someone's learning experience and walking away with my dignity intact. Lauren's speech was the best thing that could have happened. It showed me exactly how Vanessa and her friends really perceived me and gave me the clarity to end things before wasting more time. Vanessa got her education about what she doesn't want. Turns out she doesn't want someone who has enough self-respect to walk away when disrespected. Next time, I'll find someone who sees being with me as an upgrade, not a downgrade.